Hello, welcome to another pre-recorded astrology forecast, as I mentioned in my Gemini video for the full moon, that in planning my classes for the month on Insight Timer, I omitted the lunations because there's a lot of other stuff going on. We are talking about the new moon in Sagittarius, which is happening on December 19th, and it goes exact at 8:34 p.m. Eastern Time, so check your time zone. And part of the reason that is especially important is because when we have a new moon, this is the manifestation window. So you want to know when this is happening. In my time zone, it's happening in the evening. It may be happening overnight for you. It may be happening in the middle of the day. If you are going to do any sort of manifestation ritual, then you do not want to do it before 8:43 p.m. Eastern Time. You want to do it as close to it after as possible, but also just before it changes signs. So I will check that just to confirm. The moon moves into Capricorn 3 hours and 10 minutes exactly later. So you have a window of 3 hours, let's say, after this new moon before the power and impact of it, if you will, begins to really drastically diminish. Because we're still in the portal, yes, but now the moon is existing in another sign and activating another area of your chart. So if you want to harness it for manifestation, you want to keep it within that few hour window. Ultimately, there is a new moon every single month, so you always have an opportunity to manifest. Plus, you can also just completely ignore, if you will, or manifest in a separate system that is not reliant on the moon phases. So if you're like, oh no, I missed my only opportunity to manifest, you did not. You just missed the window to manifest with a lunation. And you can always do it separately in whatever practices you like, journaling, clearing and creating space, visualization, mantra, etc. Lots of visual other interpretations as well, as like planting seeds or putting things in different envelopes or burying and all that fun stuff. So to back up a little bit, I've mentioned we have the new moon, which is a beginning of a cycle. We are planting the seed of manifestation to harvest 6 months out, approximately. The full moon in Sagittarius, so the counterpart to this new moon, is happening in May on the 31st. Time zone dependent for me in the wee hours of the morning, so it could be happening on the day before for you. So you want to keep in mind when you are casting out your manifestation energy that you're focusing specifically on this container of December into May. Now, if you want to incorporate the astrology, you want to think about the fact that this is happening in the sign of Sagittarius, as we mentioned, the mutable fire sign. And Sagittarius represents exploration, adventure. It's very blunt, unfiltered, inquisitive. It's ruled by Jupiter, so it wants to collect information, but it also wants to experience the world and expand. You want to remember when we have the sister signs, we have Gemini, which is the sister sign to Sagittarius, that they also want to collect information. But for Sagittarius, because it's the fire sign, it's more about acting on it. Versus Gemini, it's like talking about it, which we're considering different. So thinking about it, talking about it, writing about it, communicating about it, versus Sagittarius could also be teaching in a similar way, but more likely to be bopping around the globe or something that is especially cross-cultural in some capacity. So maybe something that you would like to call in is related to travel or learning something new or being a little bit more direct, leaning into or discovering passions, something related to teaching, as an example. And more specifically, if you want to get extra granular, you want to look at where this new moon is happening. And I'll give you the exact degree point. So we have 28 degrees, if we want to keep it simple, but 28 degrees, 25 minutes. And again, for the people in the back who are like, what do you mean minutes? Minutes is just a subdivision. So you think about it 0 to 60. So it's a subdivision of a degree point. It doesn't mean minutes as in the time of day, because as we've established, this is 8:43 p.m. Eastern Time. And that is 43 minutes. But in this situation, this is a subdivision of the degree point. So it is just past 28 degrees, but we're a ways from 29 degrees, if you want to think about it like that. So you would look at your chart, go to Sagittarius. The symbol is going to look like an arrow pointing with a line in it. You're going to go to borderline the last degree because it goes up to 29 degrees. So we're talking about 28. And right there at the end, 28, 25, which house is in the center of your zodiacal pie chart? And that number, 1 through 12, will symbolize the life area that this is activating. If you happen to have any planets that are between 23 degrees of Sagittarius and 3 degrees of Capricorn, any natal placements that are there, those will get picked up energetically and will color what is happening with this new moon for you. So not only will it be that life area, but if you have your sun in there, then it could be activating your ego, your passion, your purpose, etc. And you just layer on the archetypes based on the different planets that may happen to be there. If you want to get a little bit more advanced, you're considering the aspects, so not just the conjunction energy. And you could say, okay, well, what's sextiling, what's trining, squaring, what's in opposition, etc. And all of that is fused into what this new moon is representing for you. So once you have the clarity on what exactly this new moon is representing astrologically by sign and by house, and potentially by planets as well, if you want to fold that piece in, then you can shape your manifestation list based on that criteria. So rather than just saying, I would like to buy a house, if this new moon is not happening in your 4th house, which represents the home, then maybe you are shifting and you had that as a manifestation. That's something you're just generally calling in, like I mentioned at the top. But you could focus this particular manifestation practice on whatever house it is linked to. I'm going to go through a few examples based on a list I channeled. So I channeled the 3rd, 5th, and 12th house to talk about for this. So again, off the cuff interpretations here. If you happen to have this new moon in your 3rd house, then you're especially going to want to consider the communication piece, because the 3rd house is representing your speech, your writing, not publishing, that's 9th, but how you are interacting with people. That can include technology, not social media, that's 11th house, but engaging with technology, local transportation. So you can think about it as from point A to B, but the scale is smaller than something like the 9th house. So maybe you are calling in clear communication, ideas to learn something new, ideas in general. Maybe it's brainstorming for something that you can then apply to literally anywhere in your life. So because we're talking about communication broadly, this gives you a lot of ways to apply it. So it's actually, if you will, a nice house to have this in, because if you're like, well, I care about that, how could I include the communication piece there and just say, I want this to go smoothly in how we are talking or resolving, or who I'm communicating with and how. If we talk about the 5th house, that has to do with play, pleasure, children, inner child, dating as well. So kind of same thing here. You're like, okay, Sagittarius, effective orator. You're like, I would like to have a smoother dating process, being able to talk to people. Sagittarius is also very playful. And again, I mentioned before, direct or blunt. So how could I embody, whether you have Sagittarius in any of your big 3 or any natal placements there or not, how can I embody that Sagittarian energy and be more fun, call more fun in? How can I connect with people in a different way? How could I maybe call in a partner, somebody that I would like to date, who is somebody who could teach me something? That's kind of a reverse. So you're like, I'm looking for a teacher. I would find that to be fun. Anything that would really just activate your sense of curiosity or wonder. Maybe it also could be a travel buddy as well. So again, if they're associated with travel, then it's like, hey, I'd like to date somebody who I can go on adventures with. If you're thinking about it from the children and play side as well, it could be, I would like to connect more to my inner child. Um, if you have children or would like to have children, again, something that you can call in. Or maybe it's like, I would like a teacher or a guide or a mentor or support in some capacity to help me with said venture in that area. And then if we're talking about the 12th house, this is the deep soul work. So of course we want to get very curious. And kind of interesting because you wouldn't say like, I want to call in soul work, but you could be calling in the wisdom that you need for healing, that you would take action on, through, about, etc. You could be calling in like aha moments or luck and expansion, something that allows you to magnify what it is that is maybe holding you back or in need of healing. So ultimately, across the board here, regardless of what house we're talking about, there is a flair for something about learning or teaching or asking questions, discovering, taking action. And that's why the house matters, because yes, we have certain things in a broad stroke when we're just talking about the sign, but how we're applying it or who we are applying it to or with is of significance. It allows you to have greater intention with how you want to grow, because that's honestly another way that you can think about this as well, because it's Jupiter ruled. We want to grow in that area of life. Even if transiting right now, Jupiter is not in Sagittarius and it's off in Cancer, that's fine. We can still harness some of that energy and say, I want to grow, have luck, fortune, expansion, depth, wisdom in this area of life. If I didn't mention your house, then feel free to comment below and I'll check my notifications and I can give you a little bit of a blurb in the comments. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, if you're looking for other recommendations about new moon ritual practices, what I do or have done, I should say. And quick note, in the month of December, so we are past the halfway point now, if you sign up for my newsletter on my website, so you just go to my website, which you can see in the link in my profile, scroll to the bottom, there is a section where you can sign up for my newsletter. And if you sign up now, I will automatically send you a 2026 moon phases guide that I made. So it's just a one pager and it gives you all of the dates, degrees, and I did 3 different global time zones for every single new moon, full moon, and eclipse for 2026. So if you would like to get that for free, you can download by signing up for my newsletter. And if you're like, oh, I don't want to sign up for a newsletter, I was mentioning this in my Insight Timer class the other day. I will not spam you. I just won't do it. I don't like to be spammed. So I send one email at the beginning of the month. It's like, here's what I was up to. Here's some things I'm going to be up to. Here's the new content, the new blog post, things I've created. I will spotlight some months. Here's a discount, or here is a video that I created recently that you might want to watch. Reminders about things I'm up to, or the podcast, if we had new episodes or things that are released. So I will not be sending you an email every single day or every single week, once a month. And if there happens to be like a special launch or release, then I will follow up and be like, yay, it's release day. Here's way more details on the thing that I teased on the first of the month. That is really the only time that I will send a secondary email. Even if like right now we're doing the 21-day challenge on my social media, I thought about it for approximately 0.5 seconds of, should I send a daily email? And I was like, no way. Because 1, I don't want to write that. And 2, I don't want to receive that. Maybe some people do, but I wouldn't. Because it will just sit there in my inbox, and everybody has their own inbox system. But For me, I just kept it on social media, and then I'm just reminding people in my classes and in these pre-recorded videos, my stories, etc. Like, hey, by the way, I'm doing this challenge. But yeah, I'm not sending people an email every single day for it. So do not fret. And of course, if you ever wanted to unsubscribe, you can. If you want to subscribe just to get the download, you want to unsubscribe, my feelings will not be hurt. But I'm going to be doing some different things in 2026 with the people that have signed up for my newsletter. So this is like the first of what I expect to be many different offerings and benefits for signing up. So consider it. Otherwise, reminders on my schedule for my Insight Timer classes. I have very few left this month because of the holiday, naturally. But I did just add, at this point, it'll be a couple days ago, I added a bunch of classes going all through January. So you can actually already see, I ended up doing it early, all of my January classes in there. So if you would like to go onto Insight Timer, sign up for any of those, you are welcome to. If you would like to request any lectures or other workshops that you'd like to see me do, feel free to reach out. You can leave a comment below any of my YouTube videos. You can go to my contact info, send me an email, send me a message on social. And I did pick a topic that was suggested by one of my students, or requested, I should say, by one of my students. So I am going to be doing one of those in January. Well, have a wonderful new moon. I hope that all of your dreams come true. And I will see you around. I will, again, continue to drop more videos. I will be working on editing more of my backlog during that holiday when I am not teaching my classes so that I can start releasing more in 2026. So definitely be on the lookout because there will be more content on this channel. Alrighty. Bye, everyone.